Well, I was watching one of your videos, and that's another one that stood out to me was that staying within compliance. That you can actually, with your platform, you can go in and look at that and go, oh, I'm out of compliance here, or I'm within compliance. This is the compliance line. That's what I took it at when I was watching the video.
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah. Not only you can do that, you can also forecast whether you'll be in compliance tomorrow. So you can
Right.
using
Yeah.
using a high resolution weather forecast coupled with air quality modeling, you can understand: am I going to be in compliance at my regulatory monitor
Mm.
tomorrow, and if not, at what periods, and what's leading to those, what conditions are leading to that issue, and what should I do then to avoid that issue. So that's where you can get to now with cloud-based scalable technology that allows you to have that information at your fingertips.
I looked at, looking at, I mean, you've got, Glencore and BHP and you've got, you
Mm.
just mentioned tech. You've got the big boys. And what is it? I know this is a big question, but what is it that EnviroSuite is doing that's essentially getting that trust from those companies? Like it's not the mining industry is not this easy thing to just walk into. So you have to really have a good value add. What do you think is that main thing that's on actually getting them on board?
I think early on, our customers trusted us to give them good advice. We had this background in specialist air quality management, noise management, and we were bringing something that they hadn't seen before,
Mm.
and they were really looking for a way to do things differently. So, a mine might be wanting to improve air quality management because they want to. Because they want to have a better relationship with the community, or they maybe because they have to, because regulations have become more stringent over time, and they're getting closer and closer to that issue of um, whether they're compliant or not.
Mm.
And that if they're not compliant, they can cause all sorts of disruptive or all sorts of problems for the mine. Now, when they're at that point, they need to manage issues in a different way. So early on, we were offering something that was different, a way of actually responding to real time
Mm.
conditions as opposed to just kind of evaluating why things happened and making sort of broader decisions around how they should manage. But being able to manage in real time really gets you a bigger buffer in terms of your compliance issues, because you can you can operate closer to the compliance limits by understanding the impacts of weather, for example. Um, you can take action to avoid an issue happening, and you can drive this improvement through proactive management, I guess, is the concept. Um, Air quality in particular is really weather dependent. So you can be doing the same thing today that you were yesterday, but your impacts could be orders of magnitude worse for the environment or for community health, just because the weather has changed. So if
Yeah.
you have a really good understanding of weather at your site, in your local community, you can manage that issue much, much better.
Yep. And I think that the key aspect of why we've been trusted is because they have seen value through the utilization of technology. But I also think there's been a bit of, for the last years, a mind shift of there is pressure for what used to be called corporate and social responsibility. Now is environmental and social governance comes and plays a role. So it's trying to understand how do we actually then translate that into real tangible activity.
Mm.
And I think when a mining operation and some of the clients we have, like Glencore and Vale, is a very key client of us in the noise space. Some of the work we've been doing with them is because they have a situation where they need to be able to demonstrate that social license to the community, that they are operating responsibly, they are driving what's best practices. And one of the mining directors that I worked with, he said to me, Andres, I want to be at the leading edge, because what is actually the leading edge today it's going to be a requirement in few years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I'm actually kind of heading with what's leading today, I'm just ahead of it.
Yeah.
So I think mine operations are starting to be a lot more open to the utilization of technology and being able to have a trusted partner to work with, which brings into play that we have experience from different operations is been a key role. One of the groups that I work with says to me, they are so focused on the day to day of the mine that what they enjoyed when I go and visit, and as I said, I was in Brazil last week, is that I bring a perspective of how other people are operating. That
Right.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's very difficult because if there is one thing mines have is challenges to be addressed on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with what's happening right now, and sometimes it's harder to get that wider view.
Mm.
So I think that they've trusted us because they have seen that we not only just working with them and we work in partnership with them to deliver their issues that will be very, very specific, but we also bring a wider perspective of what everybody else is doing.